Chapter 9. For all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of God. No man knoweth either love or hatred by all that is before them. Meaning that man cannot tell the future. Just as Albert Barnes noted, that this probably means man knows not whether to expect prosperity or adversity from God. All his earthly future is in obscurity. Verse 2. All things come alike to all. There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked, to the good and to the clean and to the unclean, and to him that sacrificeth and to him that sacrificeth not. As is the good, so is the sinner, and he that sweareth as he that feareth an oath. Which is very much self-explanatory. Solomon says, I've seen bad things or calamities happen to good people, and I've seen the wicked live very long lives. Verse 3. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also, the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart, while they live, and after that they go to the dead. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope, for a living dog is better than a dead lion. Now once again, it bears repeating, because the entire book of Ecclesiastes is Solomon speaking about things that he has observed on the earth. So this is everything under the sun. He's not referencing anything in eternity, the afterlife. It's 99% everything's on the earth. So he goes on, for the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Notice, he is speaking of the memory of them is forgotten upon the earth. So once again, he's not referencing that of the afterlife. And all the scholars agree with this. Albert Barnes noted, Solomon here describes what he sees, not what he believes. There is no reference here to the fact or the mode of the existence of the soul in another world, which are matters of faith. And this is even further clarified in verse 6, the following verse. Also, their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart, for God now accepteth thy works. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head like no ointment. What Solomon is speaking of is the result of pleasing God, that of living a God-filled life. He says, now go and enjoy his blessings. Live joyfully with a wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity. For that is thy portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. And so Solomon, he follows up with, enjoy all these blessings, but he also says, work now, while you can, before the day of your grave, which will stop any and all opportunities to do the will of God on the earth. Because afterwards, we don't really know what the rewards are. We know that there's some kind of royalty, status maybe, possibly even abilities with the glorified bodies, but do the work of God now, and then we'll see later. Verse 11, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. And this is all just a note on how man should not trust on his own plotting, planning, whatever it may be, his own strength. Don't rely upon your own wisdom or knowledge, because time and chance, and that chance word actually denotes more of incidents, meaning no matter how much that you plan, it is the ultimate will of God which will succeed. But also notice how Solomon mentions time with the chance or the incidents. Time happeneth to them all. There are times or seasons casual to men, unbeknownst to men, it's just more time added. But there are times or seasons casual to men, but known by God, in which alone he will give men success. This is why Paul the Apostle once again says, redeem the time, for the days are evil. Do not pass up opportunities to spread the gospel to others, to help others, to do the will of God. Verse 12, for man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net. And as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. Which in part also is just denoting that of a reminder that you don't know when you're going to die, so seize the opportunity. Verse 13, this wisdom have I seen also under the sun, and it seemed great unto me. There was a little city, and few men within it, and there came a great king against it, and besieged it, and built great bulwarks against it, like these siege towers. Now there was found in the little city a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet no man remembered that same poor man. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. The poor man's wisdom is despised, because men are generally vain and foolish, and have a greater value for outward ornaments than for true worth. Verse 17, the words of wise men are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. To which Solomon is only pointing out how useless words, that of big speeches filled with nothings by tyrants and great kings, those useless speeches are usually taken more heed to than the wise words. People will often overlook these things while paying great heed to vain, useless, perverse words. Verse 18, wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. And with that, we'll close out the study with commentary by John Gill. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, Solomon says, and does what they cannot do. Wisdom does what weapons of war cannot do, of which the wisdom of the poor wise man is a full proof, which delivered the city from a potent prince when weapons of war could not. But Solomon also wrote how one sinner destroys much good. It's like a little bit of leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Meaning that he destroys his own soul. One single sinner can destroy his own soul by his sins and the souls of others by his counsels, example, and conversation, which corrupt good manners. So does one sinner in a family, neighborhood, and town. Just as one poor wise man does much good, one sinner mars much. And we see that here at the close of Ecclesiastes 9. We see one poor wise man deliver an entire city, and then we see how one sinner can corrupt the whole bunch.